So in our last demo, we hooked up some behaviors to populate our customers on loaded instead of construction, and we saw that we introduced a bug by doing that. Our customers are being retrieved, but they're not showing up in the screen. Usually that means a data binding is not being notified when something happens after the initial XAML parsing is done, such as a loaded event. All we need to do to fix that is make it so that our view model implements iNotifyPropertyChanged. So we bring in that interface and we need to stub it out. I'll use Visual Studio's control.enter to do that. That added the property changed event to our class, and I'm going to add one more thing to it, which is a delegate trick where we assign an empty anonymous method in as a subscriber. That means that subscriber is always in the list and you never have to worry about property change being null. So now we need to go to the properties of our view model and fire that event when they change. And since you're now going to be raising an event when they change, you better make sure the value actually changed. So that means your set block will start to look like this. We compare the value being set to the current value of the underlying member variable. As long as it's different, then we set our member variable and raise the property changed event, signaling that it's for this particular property. To be complete, we should probably do the same thing to the selected customer property below. This one's not really necessary for anything we're doing since the selected customer is always being set by the view. But for completeness, you should really have all your properties that are publicly exposed on your iNotifyPropertyChange object follow the pattern. So because we raise property change now when customer is set after the fact in the loaded event, we can start up and see that our problem is fixed. Now our customers populate, and they do so asynchronously in that loaded event handler, showing the data once the customer's property has been set because the binding was notified about the event. Now let's show another place where you might need to do this is in your model objects. Let's say that I have another button that I add to my screen. This one's going to be a button that ends up changing a customer object behind the scenes. So just to make it quick here, I'm going to wire up a change handler in the code behind. You wouldn't normally do this in MVVM, but this is a demo. And I'm really just doing this here to emphasize that there can be other code paths in your application that modify the objects that you're being bound to. And when that happens, those objects better raise change events or the screen won't update. So here you can see that we're taking the selected item in the data grid, getting a reference to it, and just programmatically setting one of its properties. If we do that and run, I can select Derek up here, click Change Customer, and we don't see the name change. Even though in reality right now the value of the first name property of that first customer is now changed in background. So let's fix that one quickly too. To do so, we need to go to our customer object definition and add INPC, iNotifyPropertyChange, to this as well. We'll stub that out. We'll drop to the bottom of the class and use the delegate trick again. And then let's go up to the first name property and finish out the INPC pattern by adding the change event in the set block. So now we have INPC properly done for that property at least. We should really do it for all of them, but I'll leave that as an exercise for the reader. Now we can run and see that our problem is fixed. If I select Derek Puckett and click Change Customer, we can see changed in, and if I resize the column, background. So now we have INPC supporting our model objects as well.